guys, you're welcome back again today. So this recipe is very delicious. This ogbono soup made with just these few ingredients. I used different types of fish for this recipe, and of course I used okra and vegetable. This spinach was the vegetable I used, and I also used beef, which is not compulsory, but I used different types of fish, and I love Titus fish. That is the major reason I use Titus fish and the other type of fish as well. And of course I'll be listing these full ingredients in the description. After washing the fish and the meat, I seasoned it with the beef seasoning powder and fish seasoning powder, and I also added salt to the pot. You know, it's very compulsory, of course, and I added water and I cooked it for just a few minutes while I prepped my vegetable, especially the okra. I use grater to grate most of the okra, and then I use knife to shred some of them because I normally love most of the okra to be bold or big and some to be tiny. So after a few minutes, my fish is cooked already. As you can see, I just separated it out and I allowed the beef to cook further because I didn't want the fish to break inside while I cut my spinach and every other vegetable available. So I first of all added oil to the pot I'll be using for this soup. This is palm oil I added, and I allowed it to melt. Then I turned off the heat and added the ogbono. I mixed this ogbono after turning off the heat in the gas, and as you can see, I'm just mixing it with the oil to make sure everything blended. After that, I then turned back the gas on and I added water to the pot. After adding this water to the pot, I mixed thoroughly to make sure everything, blended together. Then I added crayfish. This crayfish is just 2 tablespoons of crayfish I added. You can add any quantity depending on the quantity of ogbono you are making or using. So after adding crayfish, I mixed thoroughly because I didn't want to see the lumps in the soup. I wanted everything to blend thoroughly and mix. Then I added powder pepper. This is the fresh powder pepper. I added also just a little bit because of course I'll be adding the scotch bonnet pepper. This is the red pepper which I shredded. I just added a little bit as well and I mixed thoroughly. Then I added water again to the pot. Guys, I don't want my soup to be so watery. That is the reason I'm adding just little water. You can add more water if you don't like your soup thick. So I added this stock and the beef which I allowed to cook for few minutes extra after cooking the fish because I wanted the beef to be soft. Then after some minutes I added the okra in the pot. As you can see, the pot is already boiling and the ogbono is already cooked before I added the okra, and I mixed thoroughly. As you can see, most of the okra is tiny because I used the grater, while most of them is a little bit big because I use knife to shred it. This is just how I love it. You can do yours according to your desire. So I just mixed thoroughly, and after some minutes I added the vegetable. This is the fresh spinach I cut earlier. I added it to the pot. I just added a lot of spinach because I wanted this soup to really contain a lot of vegetable, and it was really delicious. Of course, you can add vegetable according to your taste if you want small or large quantity. So I mixed thoroughly as well on just medium heat because I didn't want everything to overcook, including the okra and the vegetable. I just wanted it to cook for a few minutes. So I added the fish last because I didn't want the fish to break. I added the fish and mixed again carefully. After adding the fish, I allowed it to cook for just 1 minute and I turned off the heat. As you can see, my soup is ready and it's so delicious. Everything is so on point. It's so delicious. You can add extra protein if you want to add the shrimp or other meat like chicken, turkey and the rest. It's also okay, but I use just beef for this soup, and then I used this Titus fish and the other fresh fish. I also used just a little bit of seasoning powder. I didn't add much because I added crayfish a lot, as you saw. So it's just so delicious, and everything is just so appropriate. And I also ate this with gari. You can eat it with semovita, pounded yam or anything. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you always.